So often I'll ask a business owner, how did you come up with that price? If you're charging X dollars or X shillings for that item or that service. And they'll say, I worked out the cost of materials, I worked out the overheads, I added a small margin. Then I stop them and tell them, no, seriously, how did you arrive at that price? And then they'll say something like, okay, I looked at what the competition is charging and I sort of like went 5% below or 5% higher. And then I follow up with a question. How important is profitability to you as the business owner? And they'll be like, profitability is everything. We rise and fall on profitability. And so I'm like, if it's the one thing that you care about the most, how do you relegate that decision to your competition? Pricing for your service is arguably the single biggest, if not the biggest lever that drives profitability. Your business literally depends on it. We have a friend called Carol who recently tried to get her car cleaned at one of the car wash stations. At the first station she visited, she got an attendant who took one look at the vehicle, no questions asked, did a quick scope out and said, this will take 1.5 hours. It will be 500 shillings. Carol decides to try a second station. At the second station, she is met by this gentleman who is holding a cardboard with a checklist, and he proceeds to walk her through the range of services that are available. He even goes ahead to justify the cost using the kind of materials that they use. He then offers the complete package to Carol and informs her that if she wants everything done, it can all be done at a package rate of 3,000 shillings. She can leave the vehicle maybe for 3-4 hours and maybe pick it up in the evening. Carol decided, let me try a third station. So she goes to this place where she's met by a lady attendant, and after introducing herself, the attendant asks, why don't you describe to me what would be your characterization or description of an excellent car wash experience? She says, I just want my car cleaned. I just need it to look presentable every time I'm driving to work. I'm not necessarily a neat freak. I'm happy to have it cleaned once or twice a week. Matter of fact, I don't even enjoy having to drive to this place. I prefer to use this time to, hang out with my 8-year-old daughter, maybe spend time with her when she's taking her swimming practice, or catch a round of golf with my girls. So the attendant, listening in, weighs in with a second question, and she goes, what if I offered you a car cleaning solution whereby you get your car cleaned at least twice a week? We will come and pick it up either at your home or at your place of work, depending on which is convenient and depending on where your car is parked the most. We could also throw in the quarterly detail cleaning in case you need it. And all that we are able to offer you at a flat monthly rate of 4,000 bob. How does that sound? I think that kind of a solution might offer you the time that you and your daughter deserve to be together. The solution would also ensure you never have to come back here. You never have to spend your time here waiting for your car to be cleaned. And also, I think if you ever decide to sell your vehicle, it would retain and conserve the intrinsic value that would allow you a decent resale value. Which of the 3 car stations do you think Carol goes with, or would Carol consider? She would not go with option number 3. She would actually go with option number 2. And the reason is, option number 3 is a figment of our imagination. It does not exist. But the illustration helps to bring out what would be important to you and I when we are asking a service provider to quote for a service. And typically, most of the service places we go to, we are offered the very basic resolution of our issue or our problem that restores us to the status quo. For you to develop a rate card or a price list that optimizes your business for profitability, you need to go above and beyond. You need to quote for value. Value as is perceived in the eyes of the customer, not value as it exists in the cost of your service. Not value as it exists in terms of the man hours you have to put in, the labor you have to put in, the cost of materials, the cost of inputs, energy, electricity, billable hours. Not value in those terms, but rather value as it exists in the eyes of the consumer. Optimum pricing requires that you not only look at what the price that optimizes for your service as an organization, but also pursue a price that optimizes value for your client. It is the only enduring way to price optimally, and it's the one way that you ensure you do not leave money at the table. The aviation and software industries long realized this fact. Rarely will you hear them saying price of fuel, cost of personnel, etc. They have such differentiated experiences for different categories of consumers. So for example, in aviation, you'll have your first class or your business class, you'll have your economy offering, you'll even have a separate offering for the client who booked their travel early, and a very different offering for the client who completed their booking very close to the intended date of travel. And you find them paying significantly higher because, as far as the service provider is concerned, these two categories of clients appropriate different forms of value from the same experience. So the service provider who not only succeeds in restoring them to their status quo, but advances their position, typically you will find this service provider is able to quote on average higher than market price. This is perhaps the single biggest reason why you will find service providers across any sector who are always charging above market. If we use the case of McKinsey, for example, you will find in a lot of their engagement documentation, prior to them engaging, they will make a commitment to the client or to the prospect that if they cannot create value for the prospect that exceeds the price that they are quoting, then they would rather not proceed with that engagement. And they do this by specifically engaging in conversations that allow that value to be exploited. So how do you price? How do you quote for value? Value for the organization and value for the consumer. The first step involves a deep value conversation with your client. Within this step, you want to ask the right questions. Peter Drucker talks about the danger of asking the wrong question. In fact, he says usually most organizations will not be brought down by making or giving wrong answers. The biggest danger lies in asking the wrong questions. So when you have a conversation with your prospect or anyone who's asked you for an expression of interest or for a quotation, you want to ask the right questions. You want to ask the client to describe and clearly characterize what value looks like for them. Try to understand what they are trying to accomplish by engaging your service. If you properly unpack that value proposition, it becomes quickly clear how to go about your pricing, how to think about the benefits that are most important to the client, and how to price for them. We generally encourage service providers to desist or resist the urge to get into justifying the kind of inputs that are necessary to get the service completed or done for the client. As a former accountant, I can relate when friends tell me for them price is cost plus margin or cost plus markup. And it's counterintuitive to say, no, the price needs to be determined after a conversation with the client and a full appreciation of what that value looks like. Unlike the aviation and software industry, we still have the opposite side of the spectrum, where you find industries that have their pricing even embedded in law or in statute. You have scales in our part of the world, in East Africa, Kenya, Uganda. You find statutes where the prices that are charged by engineers, lawyers, spelled out in statutes and scales. The client literally has very little by way of expressing what value looks like to them. If you're in a mass market, say where you offer services to very many clients, maybe 5,000, 10,000 clients, then you do want to sample a few clients and understand, maybe 20, 30 clients, and understand what does value look like in their eyes. If you're in a specialized service where perhaps you offer a service to 1 or 2 customers per month, you want to have very deep value conversations with those clients and understand what does value look like for them. Within our laundry business learning course, we get into how we go about engaging in this kind of customer feedback, customer testimonials, and other customer engagements that allow you to bring out what that value really looks like in the eyes of the customer. In one of those encounters, one of our clients, Jeriha Cheso, could not have put it any clearer.
I love convenience. I'll pay for it because I feel it frees up my time to do something more meaningful. And you know, when you have laundry that you have to think about, sometimes maybe because of our bringing, you feel like you don't want to see anything in the basket. So you tend to overdo, or it just consumes your mind. But now when all of you are synchronized in knowing the laundry in the basket will go to laundry at time A or B, first of all, that gets off your way. And then you don't have to worry about, I don't have to worry about my house help's time. And of course, that also eats into my time because I need to plan for that laundry, for ironing, for the detergent. It's just too much work to be thinking about laundry. But this one is just to pack. I know the days I want to take my laundry twice in a month. So I just pack and then they deliver back to the house. So I think about laundry 4 days in a month. Yeah, and I think that's very good. I just like that convenience because then the rest of the day I can be thinking about something else. Yeah, it takes care of my time.
In a lot of these conversations around value, we have never had customers asking us, "Hi Sam, I noticed you have a new color of hangers. How much are those hangers costing you? Where are you getting your packaging bags? How much are you paying for fuel? Electricity appears to be on the up. How much are you guys paying a lot of money?" The customer does not care about the cost of your inputs. What we do tend to hear is the service that you introduced, the fact that you guys are offering pick and delivery, allows me not to even think about it. I just leave the instructions to my house manager and I know I'll find my laundry at home. They appear to value things like communication. When you inform them that their order will be ready on a certain date, or you inform them their order is delayed for this and that reason, they tend to attach much more value on that. They tend to attach more value on the fact that they have consistent laundry, whether it is personal clothing or beddings or curtains. They attach more value to the fact that they have consistent, presentable garments ready for them anytime they need them. The second step has to do with now understanding how do you attach a weight, how do you attach importance based on what the customer has communicated. And you will weight each and every item and understand, irrespective of what the competition is charging, you will get a direct appreciation from the client around how much they value different features of your service. And then you're going to attach different weights to that. And the last part, which is really, really critical, is you want to offer your client options. So unlike many service businesses where you go and you find a client asks, how much is this? How much is laundering a duvet? How much is the cost of getting this document signed and witnessed? How much is the cost of drawing me an architectural plan? Many times you're told this is our rate card. Almost like take it or leave it. You want to give the client options based on the conversation that you had. And if you go back to our example with Carol and the different attendants that she visited, you want to give the client different options because value is extremely subjective in the eyes of different customers. Value is not a figure. Value can never be a figure. What appears to be value to one client is not value to the next client. So you want to offer different options to different clients. Dana really has written substantially and extensively on this subject in the area of behavioral economics. And it's very fascinating to see what happens when you offer clients choice. Really also brings out what happens when you when you move choice from 3 items, either to 4 items or to 2 items. And generally within service, we recommend you stick with three clear options. In our case, we have a standard rate card where we charge clients per item. Typically, this will be the most expensive offering if the client chooses to clean per item. And then beyond that, we will offer 3 options where the client can fill a bag with any number of items. And we offer 2 bags for 1 flat rate. And we have a basic plan, a standard plan, and a premium plan. So when we price the bag, we don't price depending on what the competition is charging. It is an offering that was born purely out of these value conversations with the clients. Somebody might say, this is laundry. You are able to offer options based on the bag. I'm in a different service, say I'm in engineering or I do advertising. What are the considerations if I'm going to give the client 3 options? There are so many things that you can use to package the value for your client. You could offer different options depending on the kind of talent that you're assigning for a particular project. It could also be varied based on the amount of time that you're going to invest in that project. So you want to figure out ways and buckets in which you can assign different options for the client, so that the client, based on their budget and circumstances and other factors, they're able to pick up the option that works best for them. But of importance and critical is that you make the options available to the clients. As we said at the beginning, always try to not only resolve the problem for the client, but resolve it and advance their position. Try to fix the issue at hand. If it is a tax issue, if you're trying to get them tax compliance, get them the compliance they need, and then develop a solution that ensures they have recurring and consistent compliance. Like, it's something they never have to think about. In our situation, when we offer a laundry service, I tell my colleagues, when a customer walks up to you and asks you, how much is it to clean this shirt? You not only want to quote for the price of cleaning that shirt, but you want to initiate a relationship that ensures that the client will never have to think about that shirt ever again. And not just that shirt, but any other cleaning that they happen to do at home, whether it is suits, their dresses, their beddings, their curtains, etc. That's the only way that Carol is able to look at that car wash and say, the other package was good, the 3,000 package, but this one, as much as it's 4,000, it takes me to a level where I never have to think about coming down to the car wash again. If you have questions or comments, drop us a note below. If you want to learn more about pricing or starting and growing your laundry business, head over to laundrybusinesslearning.com. We are always happy to help. My name is Sam Wanyoike. See you on the other side.